Alright peeps, it's time to put your thinking caps on, because I'm about to blast you with some beautifully inspiring information that may just cause you to throw your next stop motion projects in the void of procrastination once more. It's been a bumpy ride with multiple twists and turns with distractions and life stuff, but for those who aren't on the Discord server, I have been cooking backstage and Battle for Survival Episode 4 has been in production for about a year now. But no, not just Episode 4, no that would be too easy, but Episode 4, 5 and 6. Yes, I've been brewing a storm, like literally it's a mess. And now it's very much almost here, but before their releases I thought it would be perfect timing to release the next TTPU stop motion contest. Welcome to TBOTB 2023. So I believe this one is going to be even better than the previous contest, not only because there's extra crispy prizes for first place, but the fact Benno Productions proved that you can make a 20-minute slice of masterclass stop motion within 4-ish weeks in the previous contest. I wonder who got first place. So let's get into the contest details. So first let's tackle the rules. All entries are supposed to be intended for the TTPU, so if you're entering, don't submit some random video that has no relation to the TTPU. It's happened before, so just a heads up. The next thing you'll have to do is put hashtag TBOTB 2023 into your submission's description so it's easier to find. But I'd recommend also sending them to me personally as well, just in case. So that's surprisingly all the rules. What you decide to do with your entry is completely up to you. So next, let's discuss background TTPU Kickstarter information for those who are unaware of what this is exactly about. Also, TTPU stands for Top Trooper Productions Universe, just saying. So this contest is for my series and its universe, basically, to help expand it in different ways. So you can find the playlist with everything currently in the universe in the description and pinned comment. Here's a segment from the previous contest video explaining some Kickstarter information, since I didn't see the need to I didn't see the need in redoing it, so here we go. Now let's talk about some of the lore details so people aren't confused. First up is Star Wars. What about Star Wars, you might ask? Well, it doesn't exist in the universe. You might ask why I'm such a cruel, horrible person for taking away Star Wars from a universe with absolutely no context behind it. Well, actually, I do have a few points. When I made the universe, it was made as a bit of fun, and that's why you saw stormtroopers, clones, aliens, blasters, and more. But as I added more to it, like the BFS series, Battle for Survival, I wanted to make it a proper universe and not some big joke. So the lore behind it is that the helmets you see on everyone are for their own protection, because of pollution in the overpopulated world. That is why my character wears a full face covered helmet, plus heaps of others. Then the aliens are just some people in costumes, so there aren't any aliens, creatures or anything like that, just some peeps in costumes. There are robots though. Then the blasters are just a type of gun, a more expensive upgrade from the normal bullet firing weapons. Plus, actually thinking of it, it's not just Star Wars that shouldn't exist, because there's similar things for many other universes too. But anyway, there's some plot holes covered, hopefully that may help with your entry. Some more stuff to go over is the timeline. It's up to you for what time you make your entry for, if it's around the Battle of the Animators or around the Outbreak or during the Battle for Survival series. During the Battle of the Animators is a time where the population is at a peak, and pollution is quite serious. I suggest watching the Battle of the Animators re-release if you plan to make your entry then. It covers what the world looks like then. Then around the Outbreak is when obviously the Outbreak happened, pretty straightforward there. Lastly, around the series is when the zombies have been around for roughly 1 year. The population has obviously dropped very much. I suggest watching the 2 episodes of the series so far to understand that time better. I will say though, most entries last time decided to not include the black clay for the zombies' eyes. Now that's fine, as early on when the outbreak happened, there were just regular zombies. But as the virus continued to live on, that's how, they got the black clay eyes. Now let's move on. So I don't suggest including things like my safe zone in your entry, as it's very hard to make it look identical, obviously. But a few entries last time decided to include me in them, which was pretty cool. But I will say, I can be a little picky with my appearance. So I'll give you some tips for those of you who may be planning to have me in there. My appearance in the Battle of the Animators is straightforward, you just need the pieces. When the outbreak happened, and the first couple months that followed, I had the same appearance. But during the series, and a few months before that, I had the vest and the coloured helmet you see in the series. If you plan to have me in your entry during the time of, the series, you may need to risk a clone helmet. The vest is passable if you don't have that, but the helmet is a big thing. But this is all if you're wanting to include me. That's the end of that. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to ask through comments, email, or Discord. I'll be happy to answer and help guide your story by giving you hints or pointers for helping the story to possibly be canonized. Now you might be wondering, what do you mean by that? Well, I mean not all entries will be added into the universe, which means they won't be in the TTPU playlist on the channel. But if your submission seems fitting and the lore matches it, it has a much higher chance of being added, in other words, becoming canon. The judges of this contest are obviously myself, Fina, my cousin, server admin and lore assistant, Chewy Carrot, my brother and channel elder, and lastly Jim Jam Films, another experienced stop motion brick filmer. These were the same judges from the last contest, but we were a decent effective team, having our own skills and experience to help guide our judgments. Now let's talk categories, the aspects us judges will be looking at. There are 5 categories that will individually be judged out of 10 by us judges, them being animation, lighting, music and sound, story, and set design. Then if your submission gets added into the universe, you also get an additional +3 points. This may not seem like much, but when it comes down to it, it can definitely help, trust me. The deadline for the contest will be on the 22nd July, which gives you a whole 5 weeks to complete your submissions. But don't wait, it can go fast. My advice would be to make up a plan or story as soon as you can. Now, what everyone has been waiting for, the prizes. There will be 3 honorable mentions in this contest on top of 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, like last time. 3rd place will be credited in episode 6 credits, given a shout out on the Discord server, given a shout out on a YouTube post for winning, put on the YouTube channel's page, which is a new thing, and given a cameo appearance in the Battle for Survival series if continued and don't have an existing role. 2nd place will be credited in episode 6 credits, given a shout out on the Discord server, given a shout out on a YouTube post, put on the YouTube channel's page, given a role with voice lines from yourself if the series is continued and don't have an existing role. And I decided to chuck +3 subs in there if it helps. Then finally for 1st place, will be credited in episode 6 credits, given a shout out on the Discord server, given a shout out on a YouTube post, put in the YouTube channel's page, given a role with voice lines from yourself if the series is continued and don't have an existing role, +3 subs if it helps, but they will also receive this expensive White Mask Syndicate Commando, who is a prominent character in the upcoming episodes, which includes his clean shotgun and an exclusive first place TBOTB 2023 stand. With this, there will also be a personal first place letter. These are similar to what Ben received from last year's contest.
There's his emblem there. Hey!
But no, that's not it. The winner will also be receiving, on top of all of those prizes, a large cinematic Battle for Survival poster with a gloss finish. These prizes will be shipped to the winner. So I made this poster myself and then I sent it to a professional printing business to print it off for me. So the poster itself, or the printing side of it, isn't the best kind of poster print you could hope for, but it's still good. You can see there's a laminated outline here. I didn't expect that, but that's what I got. If you don't like that, I'd recommend buying an A2 frame to go around it if you're that fussy like myself, but otherwise it does blend into the wall or wherever you put it, so it's not too bad. And you know, if you don't like it folding or creasing like all posters do, then again I'd recommend putting it in the frame so it doesn't do that. But otherwise, if you're not fussy about any of that, it looks fine just the way it is. And that's everything you need to know. Now I can't necessarily confirm that the winners could receive roles in the series because I'm not sure if I'll end up continuing the series as life stuff will get in the way. But if I do again one day, then I'll be adding the winners in there. Also, the genre is up to you as well. I've decided to be more flexible this time around, so if you did want to do comedy you can, but I wouldn't overdo it. A comedy like the Rooftop Apocalypse video I made for the TTPU is a good example if you wanted to do one. The action and the environment around the characters isn't made fun of, but the characters making situations comedic because of their own actions is why, in my opinion, it worked. But otherwise, a serious tone will probably be the easy route that's more favourable. But genre is completely up to you. So if you are entering, here is my final advice. If you're confused about something, make sure to ask. And I'd recommend for those creating interesting stories for the entries, make sure to check them with me early on, just so I can give you pointers for what could maybe be done right to make it more canon worthy. Another thing I'd recommend is not using goofy costumes or alien heads and that sort of thing. Why? Well, you could say they're gas masks, but if you don't give a good explanation for that, I don't think you should do it. Because if it's just random background characters with goofy looking costumes, I don't think that really works. But if it's main characters or something and there's a good explanation for it, then sure. Now the last thing I'd think I should say is about voice acting. Now if you don't think you have a matured enough voice, I'd recommend getting voice actors to help you out. And also, if you're going to include characters like Top Trooper or other Battle for Survival or Battle of the Animators characters, then make sure you use the original voice actors. If you need help with that, hit me up and I will try and hook you up with the original voice actors, or if it's Top Trooper, myself, I can do that for you. Now for those entering, it's time to get storyboarding, planning, animating, whatever gets you going. God bless and good luck.